All right, welcome everyone. So today we are going to be looking at Aspen Plus. All right, so this is an introduction to Aspen Plus. Right here we have the V14. All right, so this is version 14 of Aspen Plus, but basically they all work the same way. All right, just a little difference here and there, but they have the same procedure. All right, so this is version 14, and I must tell you also that the version 15 is also out, but this right here is version 14. All right, so let's look at it. What do we have in version 14? How do we navigate version 14? So we come to new. All right, if you want to create a new case, you come to new. We have different categories here. All right, so Aspen Plus, it has different templates depending on what you want to work with, and then it helps you to configure this particular template to a particular unit. Sometimes it also helps you to add some components related to the process you are trying to accomplish. All right, so basically what we have here right now, we have different categories. We have the chemicals, the template here. We have the batch polymer, we have the chemicals, we have the electrolytes, we have the polymer. So under you can check the chemicals, you can see the units for it, see the property method. It automatically selects the property method for you. This one doesn't have. For chemical it's selected one. For electrolytes it's also selected another one, is electrolyte NRTL. And then for polymer it doesn't have any, but give the flow basis as mass flow. All right, so for the gas processing, we have the air separation, we have the gas separation. So both of them are both working with Ben Robinson. All right, just few different units attached to it. All right, then we have the mining and the minerals. We have the hydrometallurgy with English units. All right, so if you are going to do anything with mining, and then maybe you are going to be using an extractive solution, making use of the um, hydrometallurgy. Then we have the pyrometallurgy, and then this one has to do with heat. All right, so it also has units, property, solid, and all that. Then we have the solids. All right, then going down to refinery, we have the aromatics, the catalytic reformer. So with this, it has its own component. Selected the component for you, giving you the unit as well, and then it's selected the property, the method for it. It has this, the base property. All right, but also added some other properties to it. So there are some simulations that you can be working with more than one property. All right, so it added other properties to it. All right, so and then see the data bank which it's using. Okay, then the flow, and then some key things to note. All right, then we have the specialty chemicals and pharmaceuticals. So right here too, you can also um, select the process depending on what you're working with. All right, so you have the biomass conversion, data bank for biomass. If you're trying to do something that has to do with fermentation, I think you see something like ferment here. And then the pharmaceutical, we have the NRTL, the specialty chemicals. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve. It has different categories. All right, then we have the user where you just select what you want. All right, so for the new for a new simulation, if your simulation is a new one, you don't want to make use of any of these categories here, you can just start something new. All right, and then once you click on new, it directs you to the simulation environment. So just wait, and then it's coming up. All right, so this is your environment for the Aspen Plus. All right, this is the property environment. Okay, it's almost similar to we have what we have in Aspen Hysis, but we have some different things. We have a lot of different things here. All right, we have a lot here. Okay, and I'll be walking you through all of them. All right, and then if you have a new batch process, you can just select this, and then I say okay, I want to close it. Let's see the new batch process. Okay, still almost having still the same thing, just you making sure that it's in batch process. And then let's see that simulation. It's empty. Okay, it's not empty. We can see that there's a blue this green line here. All right, so it's going to be doing a simulation in form of batches. All right, so that's why we have this batch model. Something of this nature is what is being configured here. All right, then we have new from user template. So if you have a template you want to select from, you can just select the template and you keep working with it. All right, so but for this, let's look at new simulation. Yes, close this. No. All right, so this is what we have here. Okay, so when you'll be selecting your, let's just walk through this. Like I said, this is the property environment. So we have the setup. All right, so here in setup, you can be selecting your um the unit you're going to be using. You can be giving your unit a title. I'm selecting the unit English. You have the metric engineering unit. You have the user defined. You have the SI, that's the international system unit. All right, you can also be selecting the valid phases. Is it vapor, liquid, vapor, liquid, vapor, liquid, liquid, depending on what it is. Calculation options as well. You can decide to select a calculation option, what the system is going to be using to calculate. At the same time, you can be defining your exergy temperature from here. Can be defining your reference exergy temperature and some other things. So basically, this is just to set up the simulation before you go further. All right, and then we have the user units, basically the units we've selected before and all that. So that's for setup. Then coming down to components. All right, so in components, this is where you'll be selecting your components. All right, this is where you'll be selecting your components for your simulation. We can either just type in the name from here, like let's say I'm trying to use water. I can type in water and then it comes up. Or if I'm not sure, or if I'm not getting what I want, because this has limits. Right, this particular component ID has limits. I cannot go below a certain amount of characters. So maybe you're not able to put in all your characters, then you have to use find. All right, and then you search for what you want. All right, so maybe I'm using methanol. Okay, I can just put methanol in here, and then I search for methanol. All right, so it's giving me methanol benzene. It's giving methanol benzene. All right, but I'm looking for methanol, so it's giving me this. So if I'm not able to get what I'm looking for, I can decide to also use different means to search for what I'm looking for. So we have the CAS number. All right, so I can decide to use the CAS number. If I know the molecular weight, I can decide to add the molecular weight or the boiling point of the compound which I'm looking for. Okay, so let's see. Let me search for the CAS number for methanol. CAS number. So this thing you can basically just search it online, and then it gives you the CAS number. Okay. So my CAS number of methanol, what I'm looking for is 6756 and 1. So basically, this to me is one of the best ways to actually find a component here on Aspen Plus. All right, so it makes it very seamless. Just put in the CES number, and then you are good to go. You get the particular component you are looking for. So to add this to this particular environment, back to your component list, once you select it, you see add selected compound, click on this, and then all right, it has added it automatically to it. So another thing is, in case you search for a component that is not on Aspen IC, that you don't see immediately, but it should be on Aspen Plus, all right, you can easily just come to the data banks. So you can see that we have a lot of data banks to select from, right? Compared to what we had in ICs before, where it was just one. So this is the ICs data bank, alright? That's what ICs is using, but we have a lot of data banks to select from. Alright, so basically I can decide to add all of them to it, and then I can search for the components I want to use. Alright, so we have that of acid gas, biomass, fermentation, flare systems, biodiesel, whatever you are looking for. Alright, so you just add it to it, add everything. Most times I advise to just add everything, because you might not be sure of um which data bank it's going to be inside. The particular component you're looking for is going to be inside. So but if you're very sure, you can just select that one and search for what you want, and then by the time you do that, you and my data bank is already selected, I can now search for the component. All right, so basically that is how it works. So these ones are automatically selected. All right, all these here are automatically selected to your ISIS. All right, so um basically let me check for one. Select all. All right, let me see if this example will. All right, so he's telling me that there's no match for this. So once I add everything, come back to this, and then I say find. Let's see. All right, so we can see it came up. All right, so it came up. What I'm looking for came up. So I have like two variations of it. All right, so that's another way to find your component. All right, so at this point here, you can design your component from here. All right, but let's move further. Let's go on. All right, so after selecting your component, you can decide um okay, this one is for petroleum. If you have an assay or blend, you can do that here. Have the non-conventional, so it depends on what you're working with. Let's go back to selection. So under this place now, we have types. All right, so like I said, Aspen Plus is quite broad and very interesting though. We have types. So imagine the conventional usually represents the conventional liquid. All right, most times this particular state, the one that everyone is familiar with concerning a particular component. All right, most times it's in liquid form. This is it, conventional liquid. All right, then we also have the conventional solid. All right, so in case some of your components are in solid form, you can just select that, okay, this is in solid form. You select the solid. All right, then you have the bio components, you have the non-conventional components. Usually this is also like your hypothetical component as well. All right, so you can select this for non-conventional solids. All right, you can use it for non-conventional solids. Then your pseudo components, it's also almost related to still non-conventional components as well, but most times it's tilted towards the petroleum side of it. Then your assay, petroleum assay, you have the blend, you have the hypothetical liquid. Remember, this one is for the solid most times, and then this one is for your liquid. All right, and then you have the polymer, you have the oligomer, and then you have the segment. All right, so it all depends on what you are working with. Right, so any component you are trying to work with, be sure of the phase, be sure of the state of matter which it's in, be sure of what it's trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish with that particular component, and then you select the appropriate type for it. All right, so and then we have the electric wizard. So this sorry, electrolyte wizard. So if you are going to be doing electrolysis, you can use your electrolyte wizard for that. We have the SFE assistance. All right, so and then we have the user defined, we have the reorder. So this one is just to reorder the component. User defined is if you want to put in a particular component, like I can decide to structure my own chemical. All right, so in case I'm not able to find the chemical I'm looking for on ISIS, I can decide to create my own chemical. All right, I can decide to do it. Yes, it's possible. I can do that on Aspen Plus. All right, so I can decide to do that on Aspen Plus and then move on. All right, so basically that's how you select your components. It's a lot. You have the acid blends, you have the light ends. So basically once you select your components, it gives the properties to it. Then the next thing to go to is your method. All right, so it's similar to what we had on ISIS where you were making use of flip package, but this now is called method. All right, so in this point you'll be selecting the method you're going to be using for your simulation. All right, so the process determines um, the kind of flip package you're going to be working with. All right, at the same time we also have the method assistant here, so this will help you to find the appropriate flip package to work with. All right, this will help you to find the appropriate flip package to work with. All right, then we have the NC properties. That's for the non-conventional properties that you might be adding. Yes, you can be specifying some things there. Okay, then we have chemistry. So in case you have anything like reactions that you want to be adding to it, then you just come to chemistry and then you define a new chemistry for it and then add the necessary reactions, all right, that you're going to be using. Then we have the property sets. Usually by the time you've selected your component, the property set tends to be generated automatically and all that. Then you have the data estimations. So in a situation whereby some of the some of your properties are not estimated, you don't have some values for some properties, all right, you can make use of estimation, and then by the time you're using estimation you have to move from analysis to estimation. All right, and then it helps you to estimate those properties. All right, then you can customize one and then you can check your results. All right, then from here it's practically almost the same thing we have here that we have in here. Your chemistry, customize, which is this property set, as it here. Draw a structure. Remember we talked about defining, creating a new compound. Okay, you can do that using this. All right, a method assistance, clean parameters. All right, all this will help you with your this here NIST and all these data sources. It helps you when you're trying to define your components, like a component you just added to it, created by yourself, and this can help you define it also. Then the analysis, estimation, regression, these are different run modes. All right, then the next, now the joy with Aspen Plus is whenever you select your components, all right, this directs you the step-by-step process, all right, to what is required for you, the things you require to run your simulation, the step-by-step process, what is needed. All right, so from here I have defined my component already. I can click on next, and then it said okay, at least one equilibrium or dissociation reaction must be specified. Okay, that's because of let me delete this. Okay, all right, so let's click on next now. All right, so it sends me to method. It said I have to add my method to it. All right, so I decide to select a method. I've added my method. See that all this is working. See, it's telling me that parameters, I need to add some parameters. So I click on next, and then it automatically defines this for me. If I click on next, it tells me that it's ready for me to run my property analysis. All right, so when I run my property analysis, it gives me results for it. Now, if your properties are not compatible, there's a problem somewhere, this will notify you before you go to your simulation environment. All right, it will notify you before going to your simulation environment, and then once everything is okay, you see results available, and then you can go to your simulation environment. Now, the joy with this is that I can start from my simulation environment before I even come to my property. Alright, that's the way Aspen Plus is. Aspen Plus is built different. Alright, so I don't need to put in components, I don't need to put in method before going to simulation environment, just like Aspen Plus. But in this place, this one is I can just decide to go to simulation environment first. Alright, so it all depends on what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so if I just want to design a flow sheet, I can just go straight to my if I want to design a flow diagram, I go straight to my simulation and then just design the flow diagram I want, take my screenshots, move on, and that's it. But once I want to run the simulation, definitely I have to add all of this. All right, so you have your simulation, you have safety analysis, energy analysis. All right, so coming down to the simulation environment, let's look at the simulation environment. All right, so basically we have the same thing. We have the setup just like what we had in the property environment, property sets, same thing, analysis. All right, then the flow sheet. Now in your flow sheet, this is going to be telling you every component, every unit operation you're going to be adding to your flow sheet. Right down here we have the model palette. All right, this is where you'll be selecting your unit operations. You have the mixer stroke splitter, you have the separators, the exchangers, columns, reactor, pressure changers, manipulators, solids, solid separator, all depending on what you're trying to achieve. All right, so basically this is where you select them from. All right, this is basically where you select them from. Remember the batch process we selected, it was running under this batch process, so I can decide to move from the new just the regular templates to your batch process. I can decide to do that by selecting this. All right, so anything I add to my flow sheet right here, this blank page is your flow sheet. This is where you'll be designing your process flow diagram. All right, so anything I decide to add here, it will be shown in your flow sheet. All right, it will register it in your flow sheet. Okay, then we also have our streams. All right, you have material. This is your material stream, this is your heat stream, work stream, and then power. This was just added in Aspen version 14. All right, so all right, so okay, so anything, if I add the material, if I add a stream to it, is registered under my stream as well. Then the blocks too also is your unit operation that has been registered under the blocks. All right, so let's create something small. Okay, let me add, see, it has registered under my block already. Okay, so your flow sheet, I can decide to select, see my mixer has been added to it. All right, so like I said, then if I decide to add a stream, now you select your stream. Now this is different from Aspen ICES. To add a stream on Aspen Plus, once you select your stream, you have to go to feed and then draw it, and then that's how you add your streams on this. All right, so then you have your sensors, you have your utilities, you have your reactions. All right, so if you're having any reaction into that, your utilities, what you're going to be using, just like what we used in Aspen Plus, where Aspen IC, sorry, we're checking some of the utilities like cooling water, the HP, steam, and all that. All right, then your convergence as well, and then this one helps with helping your system to run properly. All right, so in situation whereby you're going to be having a recycle stream, now Aspen ICES doesn't have, Aspen Plus doesn't have that recycle um block, that recycle block here. So but you can make use of your tier stream and all that. So sequencing, scaling, all this is just to help with your convergence. All right, then your flow sheet options, design spec, calculators. All right, so if you have any of those things to add, this is just like your um, it's just like some operational blocks, all right? Some logical blocks you can be adding to it to help with your system calculation and all that. All right, then you have your model analysis. This is where you'll be carrying out sensitivity analysis, optimization, be putting in your constraints, your data fit as well, all right? Then from there you have your EU configuration, all right? Then results, summary, data sheets, dynamic configuration, plans, and then this is just a new feature, AI. All right, so that's basically what we have in our simulation. Then we have the home. You can decide to select your unit from here. Remember this next, once you are running your simulation and then you need to know the next thing to add to it, you can click on next, or maybe you've forgotten something, you don't know where it is, you click on next and to direct you to what you need to add before you can run the simulation. All right, so the difference between this and Aspen Plus is that most times you have to finish your flow sheet, your process flow diagram before you can actually run the simulation. But Aspen High Seas, most times once you are done with that particular unit, it solves for you immediately. All right, then moving on, you have your economics. Right, this is where you can be doing your economic analysis. You have your batch process, okay, and then you have your dynamic. Now this is when you want to go into dynamic mode. Plan data, you have your equation oriented. That's the meaning of EO, equation oriented. That means if you have any equation to add to it, you put that here. Your view, all right, can, in case I decide to close my model palette, I can get them back from here. All right, and then I can also break my page, add a new page, zoom in, zoom out, all depending on what I want to do. Then customize, if I want to customize my simulation, I can do that here. Just to add some tables, manage some things. All right, this Aspen custom modeler, it helps to offer custom, all right, to custom a new simulation. Then resources, we don't make use of this most times because if you want to connect to support, all right, make use of this. If you want to connect to your support, then this help also is crucial in case you are confused on a particular thing. I can decide to select help. All right, this is very crucial too. I can decide to select help, and then maybe it will give me the definition or a unit. Maybe I'm confused on how to use a particular unit operation. I can use my help to let me know how to make use of that unit operation. All right, so basically this is also like a self-guide. All right, this is also like a self-guide for you. All right, this is also like a self-guide for you. You can go through all of this and then you will know how to use the Aspen Heist is better. Your Aspen Plus better. Aspen Heist also has the same thing too. All right, then modification of your flow sheet. You can do that here. I can decide to put in temperature. Maybe I want temperature to be showing from here. I can decide to select temperature, pressure. It will be showing me my variables. All right, then if I don't want this to be in a 3D icon, I can just have it this way. All right, then arranging my routes. Remember, because of the way we um define our streams here, how we attach our streams, I can decide to break it. Maybe if I'm trying to remove this from here, this is going to destination, so I can change my destination and then I can remove this depending on what I want to do. All right, so basically that is how you make it. This is just for text. All right, if I want to add a text to it, I can do that. If I want to draw some diagrams in it, I can do that here. All right, so basically this is just a breakdown of your Aspen Plus. All right, this is a breakdown of your Aspen Plus. In subsequent videos, I'll be showing you how to carry out your simulations on it and then checking results and all that. So for now, this is just your introduction to Aspen Plus. All right, so for the next 1 month, we're going to be working with Aspen Plus. All right, see you in the next video.